What's going on, guys? You're back with the Hot Wheeled VAPESTER. And for starters, I feel 100% better than I did when I did my last video. That's kind of why I haven't done anything. I was trying to get myself feeling better. Today, I'm basically going to be doing sort of a redo. I'm going to be calling this my first look at the TFV prints and Smok Mag Part 2. You will never hear me refer to the TFV prints as the TFV 12 prints. I will get more into that when I do my first look. But I'm actually redoing this for a couple of reasons. Number one, when I did it initially, I did it with the Sigeli Swallowtail. And I went back and I watched the video a couple times. And I don't feel that I gave the Prince tank or the mag enough time doing that with the Sigeli Swallowtail. So the Sigeli Swallowtail will not be in this video. And number two, the video is actually copyright flagged in New Zealand, excuse me, and Australia, because I had some copyrighted music in there, and, you know, that was honestly my fault. Jason Sandlin did such a good job with that intro, that I just wanted to get it out to you guys. And, you know, I had gotten past the copyright flags in the past, with several of the other videos that I did with that intro, and this time it just didn't make it past. Jason and I are working on redoing the music for that intro, but it's just going to take some time. And very, very quickly, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our admin moderators in Bootleggers, Chad. He designed and made this very beautiful Yeti tumbler. My wife and I both love ours. You know, and the camera just really doesn't pick up all the detail. This thing is just beautiful. Thank you so much, Chad. Check out Bootleggers and get yours. A very, very amazing cup. Well worth it. But now, getting into this, and I'm going to start with the Prince tank right here. I'm going to say it right off the bat. When I heard that Smok was releasing the Prince tank and they were calling it the TFV 12 Prince, I was very, very apprehensive. I actually wasn't going to get the Prince tank. But somebody was kind enough, and I'm not going to mention who it was, because they've asked me not to. But somebody was kind enough to send me the mag and the prints for me to review. And I've actually fallen in love with both of them. To the point that I'm actually going to be getting him a new one in a different color and keeping this one. And I will tell you, one of the reasons that I was very apprehensive when I found out that they were releasing this tank and calling it the TFV12 Prince. Because when they released the TFV8 Baby Beast and the TFV8 Big Baby Beast, I was not impressed with the flavor production on any of those coils. So I just don't use them. And I thought this was going to be similar to that. And I really didn't like the way it looked. I didn't. But when I got this and I started using it, I really started liking the way it looked. The fishbowl still kind of bothers me a little bit. I like it now, but it still bothers me. I feel they could have rounded it a little more than what they did. But I will give them kudos for the fact that they did a bubble glass right out of the gate, and you no longer have to buy bubble glass third party. Now, I will be straight up with you. The only coil I have used is the V12 Prince coil. That's the coil that came with it. And I've had this thing for about a month now. There is no signs of it burning out. I've used this thing on a daily basis. I've used it from 80 to 110 watts, which is where I'm at right now, and there's no signs of it burning out. And I will tell you that the coil says it's rated anywhere from, let me just see real quick. Oh, this is really hard to see. I'm sorry, guys. It says it's rated for up to 120 watts. But it says it's best at 80 to 110. And that's where I keep my TFV coils. I do the same thing with my TFV8 and my TFV12 coils. Because I find they last longer, keeping them at their best at range rather than going for their full rating. I also find they last longer if you use juice that doesn't have a sweetener. Like I said, I have been using this coil for just about a month now, and there's no signs of it burning out. There's no diminished flavor. One of the things that really sold me with this tank after I started using it is right here. I don't know how well the camera is going to pick that up, but there is a button, and that is how you open your tank. I wish they'd have done that on the TFV line from the beginning, because the tank locks. There's no accidentally opening it. I absolutely love the fact that, and I don't know how well you're going to see this because of my fat fingers, but I love the fact the airflow, which great airflow by the way, but I love the fact that it's on a stopper. I haven't changed this coil out. Like I said, this was the coil that came with it. But I can tell you, based on my experience with other TFV tanks, like the TFV8 and the TFV12, I have such a hard time getting the coils out because all the airflow wants to do is spin because it's not on a stopper. It's going to make it immensely easier for me to get my coils out. I love the fact that they included an acrylic drip tip. Because those of you that have been with my channel those of you who have been with my channel from the beginning know that I cannot stand Delrin. I don't like the way it feels. It looks okay, but I don't like the way it feels. I just don't. But getting to why I will never refer to this as the TFV12 Prince. I feel that the Prince tank is in a class all of itself. You know, when they came out with the Baby Beast and the Big Baby Beast, it looked a lot like its predecessor, the TFV8 Cloud Beast. This does not look anything like this. These are both great tanks, but they are nothing alike. You know, they don't look the same. And in my opinion, functionality is a lot different. With the Baby Beast and the Big Baby Beast, there was diminished flavor, there was diminished cloud production. I will say that this is great for lower wattages. Yes, this is rated best at 110 watts. But my base wattage use, for me personally, I start at 150. And I'm anywhere between 150 to 200 watts. So for me, 110 watts is low wattage. But there's no diminished flavor, there's no diminished cloud production, as you guys can see. That's basically all I have to say about the TFV Prince. I'm very, very impressed with it. I like it a lot. In fact, it is probably one of my favorite low wattage tanks that I own. Now, getting to the Smok mag. Like I said, I've had this for about a month. And I have tried very, very hard to come up with something that I don't like about this mod. Those of you that have been with my channel since the beginning know that this is the first Smok mod that I've done a review on since my 220 watt alien. And I can list cons all day about the alien. I have a first gen alien. I haven't bothered to get a second gen. And I can list cons about that thing all day long. I can probably name 100 of them off the top of my head. Now, I haven't messed with any Smok products since the Alien, because the Alien really turned me off to their mods. But like I said, I was given the opportunity to review this because honestly, when I saw it, I was really intrigued about it. And I said, you know what, I want to pick this up and I want to review it. And I'm glad I was able to be perfectly honest, because I love it. It is probably the first production mod that I really, really do like to use on a daily basis. I love my Swallowtail, and I love my Limitless LMC. But I can't use those constantly. This I can use on a daily basis, and I can use it all day long. I love the way it feels. It's very ergonomic in the hand. The way they designed it like a gun grip, it looks amazing. I love the fact that it's actually a trigger and not a full side fire button. You're not going to accidentally, fire this just by picking it up, like you would have with the Alien. The paint on this thing is just amazing. Those of you that have followed me for a long time know that in the first 2 days after I got my Alien, I scratched it really, really bad with my wedding ring. Actually, to the point I ended up putting a wrap on it. I love my Alien for what it was and what it did for me. I don't use it anymore, but simply for the fact that it holds a special place in my heart for getting me permanently off cigarettes. I'll never get rid of it. But I mean, I love the way this feels. I love the colored display on it. I love the fact that it's a bigger display, and they don't have everything so crunched together on this. Now keep in mind, this is not my full review. I am actually waiting on another tank that I ordered, which is the Freemax Fire Luke. And I ordered that tank to test with this because it's similar in size to the TFV Prince, but it's got coils that are rated for higher wattages, because this says it's a 225 watt mod, and the largest coil that the TFV Prince has right now only goes to 110 watts at its best at range. So I wanted to get a tank that could go a little bit higher and still be about the same size as the Prince tank. So I ordered the Fire Luke. It should be here on Monday. So I will sit with that for about a week on this, and then I'll get my full review out. But I love what they've done with the battery compartment on this. I will get more into that when I do excuse me, when I do my full review, I have tested the balance charging feature on this, and it works very well. I do not recommend charging your batteries on the mod. I always recommend getting an external charger, but if you have to charge your batteries on the mod, that's what you've got to do. I completely understand. I had to do that when I first started with the Alien because I didn't have an external charger. For 18650s, because when I started vaping on things like the Blue e-cig and the Ego T that had their own proprietary chargers, so I didn't have to worry about getting a charger until I got the Alien. But that's neither here nor there. That's not part of this. That's just explaining why I did things the way I did back then. So like I said, if you have to charge your batteries on the mod, you can do that without worry on this, and I will get more into that when I do my full review. I probably will compare this to the Alien a little bit, because the Alien is the only other Smok mod that I have used. And this is probably the best commercial mod that I have used. I don't want to say commercial mod. This is probably the best production mod that I have ever used thus far. And like I said, try as I might, I've tried to find flaws with this, and I honestly can't. The battery life is tenfold better than what it was on the Alien. I can get a full day out of these batteries, and if I'm not using this thing constantly, I don't have to charge them every day. If I'm using this for a full day, I can get a good 12 to 15 hours out of it. Now, I will be perfectly honest, when I first used this, or when I first got this, it's all I used, and like I said, I got a good 12 to 15 hours out of it. It feels great in the hand, it's not too heavy. There's not really much more I can say about it until I do my full review, which I will probably do in a few weeks. Excuse me. Over-vaped a little bit, and that was my bad, I'm sorry. But I really do. I love this thing. Like I said, it's probably the best production mod that I have used. And for the month that I've been using it thus far, the paint's held up really well. There's no scratches on it. I will say that it is a bit of a fingerprint magnet. That's really the only con I can come up with, and that's honestly a subjective con. But you will definitely be hearing more about this in my full review. I will get more in depth about the menu system, about the battery compartment, because I absolutely love the battery compartment on this. But yeah, that's really all I have for this right now. I want you guys to remember that I love each and every one of you. Remember that smoking is dead because vaping killed it. I hope you all are having a great start to 2018. And I will see you all out there on the clouds. Love you guys. Peace.